Well, thank you very much and welcome back at the Sentin Convention Center where the CITES conference is currently underway. Very, very big decisions are being taken here. The delegates have just come out now of the plenary room where they have voted on very controversial issues as well. One is that since this morning they've been debating whether all elephants should be uplisted on what they call Appendix 1. Now, that's a conference speak. What it means is that if all animals are put in that category, then it means the international trade on those elephants will be banned, will not be allowed. In other words, they will ban totally the trading of elephants in the international market. But now this issue now here has been defeated. Those countries who have actually been trying to have all the animals to be put on that category, and those countries have been defeated. And the countries that have put up that proposal are quite happy. And one of those countries is Zimbabwe. We are now joined by the Minister of Environment from Zimbabwe, who's going to tell us about how she feels about the voting. Minister, I can see you are smiling now. It's been quite a very difficult day for the range state countries, the countries who actually have quite a number of these elephants. But you must be happy now that the vote has been taken and you are free to use your elephants the way you want.
Well, we won on one front, but not on the other. We experienced quite some sad moments this morning when our annotation proposal was not accepted. And this proposal was to allow us an opportunity to sell our ivory, and we were not successful when a vote was put before the delegates. But this was done to counter the proposal of Kenya, because we knew that Kenya was pushing for us to ban our ivory, and we really felt that the choice of Kenya and those coalition countries should not dictate our situation within SADC, because we really felt that the stocks that we are keeping in our armories are very expensive and dangerous, because anytime we can be attacked by criminals, and so it's costing us a lot of money to guard this ivory, especially in the last 9 years when we had a moratorium. So we were hoping after 9 years, then an opportunity had to be considered. And the fact that the DMM process was rejected, as you may also recall, that yesterday it was rejected. So we felt that was an opportunity. Without the decision mechanisms in place, we thought the removal of the annotation would help. But this afternoon we are all smiles, because the proposal by Kenya, again in the coalition government, those that have failed in their conservation programs and are struggling and are having their population of elephants declining, have been pushing to uplist the elephant population from Appendix 2 to Appendix 1. And as you saw, that was rejected outly by most countries who believe in us, who know that scientifically, when a count was done by IUCN and also by traffic, there was a clear demonstration that we were doing very well within SADC to make sure that we grow our population, where it was demonstrated that 2/3 of all the elephant population in the world is found here in SADC. So for us, whilst we mourn the inability for us to sell our ivory, but still we are remaining in Appendix 4, Appendix 2, which allows us to engage in trophy hunting, also to sell our elephant hides, and also to sell our own live animals to acceptable destinations. So for us, it's really victory.
Minister, thank you very much. All right, that's Minister from Zimbabwe there. Very happy about the outcome of the voting. Little earlier on the issue of elephants. The idea was that there were countries who were actually pushing that there must be a ban on trading on elephants, but that suggestion was totally defeated, and countries like Zimbabwe, Namibia, and the countries in the southern region, including our own South Africa here, is also very happy, I understand, with the outcome of the votes. We're now joined by the Minister of Environment in our country, Umamo Edna Molewa. Mayor Molewa, you must be happy, and I saw you, and during the discussions you were pushing very strongly the language that you used. It was quite very strong, objecting to this idea that all elephants, trading on elephants must be banned. How are you feeling now?
No, I think we've been vindicated, not only South Africa or the SADC region, but also the whole conference of parties. CITES has actually been vindicated, because we've always repeatedly said it, that this is a body that is based on scientific studies for it to make certain decisions. And we've always said it, that the elephants population on the SADC region, as per the reports that we have in front of us, do not meet the criteria for uplisting. So we have been vindicated, CITES have been vindicated. We are very happy that this body does show that it actually makes decisions in a proper manner. Although it is with voting, but people do listen, and then also listen to reports, and they vote based on the reports, what the reports are saying. So we're very glad. And also the fact that there has not been closure of markets for ivory, there's not been closure of markets for elephants, nor for the lions as well. The reality is that this is actually saying to us as South Africa, we need to continue to sustainably utilize our natural resources, to create jobs, to boost our economy, to actually develop the rural communities out there. And for us, this is very good. I
must admit, given the huge anti-trade sentiment that I've picked up here, I didn't see this coming. I must admit, I didn't see this coming, because I was looking at this anti-trade sentiment that is here. Every suggestion that is put on the table, everybody suggests that it must be pushed down. And what was the turnaround in this debate? Some people are saying you've been helped by the EU.
Oh yes, indeed. I think, as I say, that the scientific nature of the reports are very helpful. Indeed, the EU voted. They just didn't even vote first. They voiced the view that they would love to see decisions at this kind of a conference be made in a unifying manner. That is a very important statement. And the fact that they do not want to see divisions, but rather looking objectively at matters, that's a very powerful statement for us.
Was this conference under threat? Was it under threat in terms of unity?
It was. The conference was never under threat of unity. We knew, you recall that even on the first day we discussed that there is the sentiment. And I did say that this conference does not decide on sentiments. It decides on reports that are there. And I think, as I say, we are vindicated. EU has helped many other countries, by the way, not only the EU, who actually listened to the discussions that were swayed by the fact that reports are saying something different.
The sad part about this conference, I think, is something that many people will take away from this, certainly people from the African continent. It's how the African continent has been so divided on this issue. It hasn't been speaking with one voice, and countries pulling on different directions. It must have been quite an unfortunate part of this conference.
Tammy, it's very saddening, but let me tell you something. We've been doing work behind closed doors. We've already said to Chad, which is the current AU chair, that we are asking you, Minister, when you get home, please ask our leader, the president of Chad, to begin to work with our presidents at presidential level to get the African continent working on these matters. It's all over on other environmental related, not even on environment related, whether it's trade, social issues, we speak with one voice, except on this particular matter. So we need to go there. And fortunately, all the parties we met about 37 or so, or from the African continent, all those that we have met express the same desire. So it was really them who gave us that confidence to ask Chad to communicate this and that they start something. Gabon is the next chair of AMSEN. We asked them, saying to Gabon that please go home and we will work with you from the southern district. We start now, Southern Community, Development Community. We start now to prepare ourselves to begin to not only just prepare for conference, but to work together in taking care of our animals, in supporting one another, in translocations and all those, in fighting the poachers together. So we have agreed, unanimously agreed in all the meetings that we have held at a bilateral level with them. Some have actually even gone to the Kruger National Park, begun already. 2 of them have left us with a memorandum of understanding. They say, we now want to start immediately.
And the unfortunate thing, of course, I mean, it opened up an opportunity for some other factors and some other influences. Some people are saying NGOs, they got into that space and tried to influence them. It's quite very sad.
It is very sad. And as I say, unfortunately, some of our NGOs actually rely on emotions and they pump up people's emotions, which is very sad. It is really necessary that even as you are an NGO, base your argument on science. And also, it mustn't be that we just argue for the sake of arguing. We must argue in such a manner that we are saying, in the final analysis, our animals and our fauna and flora, our wildlife becomes the victor, and not us as individuals. Once you start looking at life like that way, that I am now attached to this thing more than other people, it's a problem.
So South Africa is free now to use its elephants the way it wants, regulated, of course, under Appendix 2?
Absolutely. We're back to square one. South Africa will still continue, but of course we'll come back with the DMM, still to try and open the annotations for further trading that's possible. We know that it might be difficult, but we are happy that we are now at the status quo.
Unfortunately, the rhino trade, the trade on rhino horns was defeated just not long ago. South Africa, how do you feel about that?
We are actually just touched about the fact that Swaziland's proposal has been defeated. But again, we ourselves said that we are not ready yet. We do think that there's need to do more work. And once we finish that work that we need to do, because there's a lot to do in terms of finalizing the decision-making tree of things that are still remaining behind, so that we can then go back and say, next CITES, or even that other CITES, maybe this next CITES, let's put our proposal. But it will be so strong that it may not even be defeated from a scientific point of view. That's what we're building on.
Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Danny.
Well, that's Minister of the Republic of South Africa, Umamu Edna Molewa, really summing up how they feel the celebrations from the countries in the SADC region who have the bigger population of elephants. They've just warned here now against the argument that all elephants must be put on Appendix 1, which would have actually banned all international trade on elephants. But they've won here. They've won that debate. They will continue trading on elephants. With that, it's back to the studio.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you for staying with us here on News Today. In your sporting news, Bafana opened their 2018 Russia FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Burkina Faso on Saturday. South Africa are in Group D, that also includes Senegal and Cape Verde.
Bafana should try and forget about their failure to qualify for the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. Some consistent performers at club level are part of the Sheikhs Mashaba-led team that will play against Burkina Faso. Orlando Pirates duo Opamanyisa and Brighton Mhlongo's performances have not gone unnoticed, while Bidvest Vets forward Eliza Rochas was rewarded for his goal-scoring prowess.
We just have to have a strong mentality, in front of the goals and try to put the ball in the net, So goals is what we need, and hopefully we can work on that without putting any extra pressure on ourselves. It's our job at the end as strikers to score goals, so we'll do that. We'll try our best to do that.
There have been some injury-forced changes in the 25-man squad named by Mashaba over a week ago.
Rivaldo had a hamstring injury, and